we're gonna start how we always start.
Are you gonna clap? Just don't clap.
I don't know. I need you to do the intro.
Yes.
Bring us in, baby.
Welcome to another edition.
I'm gonna clap. Of burnt biscuits and
Why do you need to clap?
cold eggs. Real talk. We have some of our best friends here with us tonight, and I will get them to introduce themselves so you can kind of know what we finna talk about.
So I am Michael, and this is
Kristi
Price, and we have been married for 10 years. This
10 years.
Shout out to 10.
And we have a 4-year-old turning 5.
How old are y'all?
50. So we're 50 with a 4-year-old.
4-year-old?
But there are others.
God bless y'all.
Right?
This is gonna be quite the conversation.
Oh my God, it's going to be a conversation.
Yes.
Maybe a cautionary tale, maybe maybe we'll be encouraging someone who wants to be 50
I'm
with
sure
a
it's
4-year-old.
cautionary.
It's gonna be old people. It's gonna be old people all over America trying to have babies after this episode.
I hope
Hey.
not. I hope not.
That may be the case. You're welcome.
That's what mistletoes are for.
Not, you're welcome.
That's what mistletoes are for.
Hey, I'm finna get some mistletoe.
That's what trap music and weed is for.
All right.
we rolling sound.
The drinks.
We love our drinks.
What a drink. Drink.
Shit, hold on.
Ma'am, what is wrong with you?
Like the whole song.
You like that?
The coochie juice.
Yeah.
Coochie juice, right? We made a song for coochie juice.
What y'all's cups look like over there? Because I'm drinking what y'all drinking. Donnie. I can't
I
see.
need to send an email real quick. 2 seconds.
Well, we can have some conversation.
Hey, I'll get warmed up.
All right.
I got a hot topic.
Oh my God. I don't
Wait a minute, wait. If it's supposed to be Brittany Griner,
Fista?
Finsta.
Fista.
If it's finsta be Brittany Griner.
No.
If it's finsta be Deion Sanders. If it's finsta be it's one more. What? I can't think.
Governor. Atlanta.
Herschel.
Herschel Walker.
If it's supposed to be Herschel Walker. What's the little white man that on the team that they talk about today?
Jerry Jones.
No, not that one. The one from today.
Today?
Hold on, I'm finna tell you.
So I almost got a shirt made today for
Just
the
say
show.
what?
Oh my God.
What was it gonna say?
It was going to
Is
be
we
this.
Oh my God.
You should have done that. Cause we could have. You should have done
That would
that.
have been dope, though.
Why you didn't do it?
Because I usually wear a lot of Atlanta influences, everything, T-shirts.
See, I was gonna wear my
So
Atlanta
without
sweatshirt.
saying
That's
it,
what I
without
should've worn.
saying it, I was, this says the same thing.
I should have worn my cannabis stuff.
Okay, so what's the hot topic? What is the man's name? The man's name is, it's a white owner that he owns the
Cowboys?
She said it's not Jerry Jones. It is someone else.
Hold on, I'm finna tell y'all. Snyder.
Who the hell is that?
Oh, never mind. Sorry.
Sound like
Because I
somebody
sit
at
up,
work.
because I kid you not, we keep our television. No, a man keeps our television. Like if you turn right now, it's on.
Yeah.
It stays on ESPN.
No news.
yeah.
It's from the.
It's like a ticker.
It
You're watching a
never
ticker.
goes off, and I will wake up sometimes, and I will have whatever they've been talking about because I'm sleeping and I'm hearing it consistently. And, they repeat. I'm like, what the fuck? So yeah. Washington Commanders owner David Snyder.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
He's been racist.
Yeah, so now they
but
they
they
had
all are
rulings
racist.
today. Something happened today. He permitted and participated in the team's longtime toxic work culture and obstructed a 14-month congressional inquiry by dodging a subpoena, working to dissuade and intimidate witnesses from cooperating, and claiming more than 100 times in testimony that he could not recall answers to basic questions. The House of Representatives Committee on Oversight and Reform is what. Do you have to look like that?
I'm listening to understand.
Okay. It was a 79-page report. Yeah, so, okay, everybody, get you some. Flip that around, Kristi.
I'm gonna put it over here.
Just do it like.
It's too big to be on me.
It's all good, whatever. I'm just saying. Okay. So anyway, apparently was a 79-page report, and it comes down hard on the NFL, concluding that the league was complicit in his efforts by not cooperating.
White boys going white.
They're going to white. That's what they do.
The rich ones. That's why I like hanging with them.
The white boys. Yeah, right.
What you say?
I said, what's Bernard when you
right.
Y'all wrong for that. Don't do that, man, like that. He is not
You
here.
would be proud of me at the event with Hollins.
Oh.
I didn't have anxiety about being away from Everly. See?
Oh, he's talking about when he went to the mixer.
He acts like he was gone for 3 weeks. He was gone for 30 minutes.
Hold all that. Just hold all that. That's gonna be good talk for.
No, but we can utilize this. Are you serious right now?
Yeah, you was talking to somebody, but I was going to tap you on the shoulder and
say, "Aren't you proud of me?" That's what you was gonna say, ma'am. He literally.
You see what I deal with,
Mike? You're really gonna have to work on that.
He's gonna have to work on it. It's unhealthy.
For who?
For you, and it's about to be for her in a minute.
Black fathers can't get a break. We always getting accused of being absent, not being around. Now you got a man that don't want to be away from his daughter for more than 30 minutes. And y'all criticizing.
When he heard it, he had to laugh himself because he understands how crazy it is.
I know. I realized the shot.
It was a fire.
But I'm just saying. I mean, when
fired.
you think about it, Mike, seriously, like, so what's the longest that you've been away from her?
Like a weekend.
And you had major anxiety? You can be honest.
I think it's more now because she communicates more now. So, you know what I mean? Like, so we be having like full conversations. So now the anxiety is like a little bit higher because we have even more of a bond. First it was just like, oh, my baby. But now it's more like, you know, she has these conversations with me.
Listen, little girls are the worst at making you feel guilty.
Oh, yeah.
Like, when my little one was little and I would travel for business, like, her mama would never call me with the when you coming home. Because sometimes I'd just be gone. And it'd be like I might be gone 3 days, might be gone 5 days, depending on business. Little one would call, we'd get on the phone. Oh, daughter wants to talk to you. Hey, daddy, are you coming home tomorrow?
Melts the heart.
I'm like, damn. All right, I will. So I get it. The 30 minutes, dog.
He wanted us to pat him on the back for being at the event.
I know. I was just standing there like waiting for you to finish your conversation.
Listen. And can I also add that he almost brought her with him.
What, today?
Tonight.
My.
Do you hear me?
No, you know what though? That would have been cool. So like then when her at her acceptance speech, when she's the first black female senator from Texas, she could talk about back when my daddy took me to see Mayor Chris Hollins. That was the beginning of me
talking
chasing
about
my
tonight.
dreams.
Tonight.
He's talking about
tonight?
Yes.
Oh, you gonna bring? Oh, she could have came on the show.
No, she could not have.
Listen, Everly be holding adult conversations. I heard in the background.
Oh my! He's talking about it's gotten better. Has it really gotten better though, Kristen?
Listen,
No, he actually said it got worse, right?
Mike called me the other day, and I heard it in the background say, "Daddy, get off the phone." And he told me he had to go.
Yeah.
Mike.
Yeah.
It's like a little parole officer.
I mean, okay. It is. I mean, where are you coming? Where are you going?
I think
where
it's
are
something
you?
about,
Where will you be here?
I think it's something about people. Most of my friends that are older that have kids have like little niggas come out grown ups.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like just older parents, but like these kids are more. And I think some of it is just the parents are like younger parents almost like they don't pull their kids along into like kids like now they get exposed to older shit, and so they actually end up being more mature. You know,
that is true. They don't get left behind because we are, at a place in our lives where we're not willing to compromise in that way.
No, we're not going to Chuck E. Cheese.
We've already done that. Right, exactly. They will evolve. I mean, children. That's what children are pliable. They adjust to their surroundings, and so. As older parents, that's certainly a struggle for us.
Well, I think, but it probably helps to have older kids that
adults,
can.
you mean?
Right.
Yeah, y'all have adult.
Like grown, like let's put things in perspective.
Adults.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying.
Like all of them were adults.
Offspring. Right.
Yeah.
But even still, even Peyton in comparison to Evie.
Yeah, it's still a gap.
Right. Right.
Because how many years apart are they? 12. Oh, just
So y'all
10?
got what are the ages from oldest to baby?
Let's hit it.
It's like some lottery numbers.
Right.
We write this shit down so I can play it.
We might need to play these numbers. That's a good idea. Okay, you gonna try me?
You go. You probably best at it.
You know, you always say I'm always rounding up.
Well, that's just true, but
So correct me if I'm wrong. So we have a girl that's 27. We have a boy that's 25. We have a boy that's 24. What's the question? 23. We have a boy that's 22. We have a girl that is 20. We have a boy that's 15. And then why's your face like that?
like the damn Adams family.
the Waltons.
Right.
Good night,
We're the Waltons,
Good night,
right?
John.
And then we have Evie, who's 4.
No,
And how many was that?
Everybody.
How many was
It
that?
is 7.
7. Ooh.
Oh.
And there are 7. But this is a blended family, so let's be clear.
Right,
this
right,
is not
right,
7
but-
from my womb.
Tonight's Powerball is 27,
Right.
25,
Right.
23, 14,
All these numbers.
3.
I mean, it could be. There are 7 of them. And Evie's at the, and she's the baby. She's the youngest. So.
No.
And she has her daddy.
This is the part that got me forever. Like, so her 27-year-old daughter, Deja,
Oh, God.
there
are layers.
She has a 4-year-old also.
So Evie's aunt is the same age as.
They are a month apart.
Yeah. So they're yeah.
And man, I feel like so trailer park every time I tell somebody this.
They are 4 Thursdays. Evie was born on a Thursday, and then 4 Thursdays later, Demi was born.
So it's very similar
Like
to
Peppa and the twins.
Right. It's very similar to Shay and the twins with Skylar as their niece.
Yeah. So Evie has a niece and a nephew. Her nephew's older than she is.
Skylar's younger but bigger.
It doesn't take much. You know what? What we're not gonna do is this.
Well, Evie's bigger too. When you see Evie and Demi together, it's like 4 weeks where.
Okay, so y'all. Okay, I could not resist. Wait a minute. Let me. Please don't. Just do what you're doing as if I'm not even here.
I'm just fixing my little watch.
Okay, y'all. This Negro brings himself downstairs for this all men's smoker that he's going to.
Fellowship event.
Oh, okay, my bad. What now?
It's a fellowship event.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll smoke some cigars and fellowship.
Let me see. Y'all look at this.
What? This is my normal going out attire.
Okay. All right.
I'm sorry. What's it?
Nothing. You have a good evening.
Do I look good?
You look great.
Thank
What do you mean?
Kristi, okay, because
You wasn't trying to have no baby.
I wasn't, because you told me you couldn't have.
I didn't think I could.
All right, so
So I'm saying, so it wasn't like it was family
So
planning.
you just
we
walked
did
in
not
there,
intend to have children.
You walked into the pregnancy test like, surprise, nigga.
man,
yeah,
no.
okay, that's what we need to talk
Kinda.
about. What did
Hey,
that look
what
like?
did y'all do?
So we were living in Richmond at the time, and I was sleeping on the couch, and I'm just like dozing off.
No,
Oh, no,
okay, wait.
let him tell his version.
But I'm just saying that he's talking the end. But there's a whole.
No, I'm talking about the day you told me.
Okay. But I'm just saying there's a story before I told you. But go on.
Yeah, of course there was. But I'm talking about the day you
Not
told me.
that.
So she said,
She woke you up, or
yeah, I was on the couch just knocked out, and she said, get in the bed. I'm like, I'm okay. Like, leave me alone.
Yeah.
I'm okay. And
Ooh,
then
that's
she
our
says, okay, I'm pregnant. And I was like blinking. I
was like,
that's not true.
I thought to myself, am I late for work? What's going on right now?
Clearly he was dreaming. That's not what happened.
Okay, so
that's not what happened.
Kristi says that's not how it occurred. Kristi, what happened?
She was pregnant, hormones everywhere.
No.
Okay, just let's hear her.
Do you think that I would forget, of all people, exactly how I told my husband I was pregnant?
She knew what she had on that night.
Everything.
Is this? I don't. Can you ask person their age?
Yeah, you can ask me.
How old were you when you found you were pregnant?
I was 44.
And you were?
We were both 44. You know what they're saying.
That's what they're saying. Yeah, right. Hey, happy birthday, belated. 50th.
So I was 44, and I had never, like, since my youngest at the time, I guess was like, 16, 17. I had never even had a scare. Like, it was, I never thought I would ever be able to, not that I was in menopause or anything like that, but I just, and plus I was 44, so I was like, well, shit, what are the odds? Like, who gets pregnant at 44? Nobody. Well,
yeah, but
that's what I was thinking.
I thought you had, like, research.
So you thought that she had,
like, went to the doctor.
Okay.
And the doctor
No, you didn't.
Yeah, at 44.
I mean, 44. You don't have to go to the
44 ain't
doctor.
50. Like, that's still. You still.
So what you're saying is, if I came up pregnant, if I said to you right now that I'm pregnant, you would.
I mean, 44 sounds younger now than we are 50.
Last month.
But 40, that is not.
He still don't have an answer. I don't even know how.
First of all, I'm not gonna believe it.
Right.
Yeah, I don't even know how I would.
Like, false.
I mean, exactly. I mean, listen. So, okay. So before I told Michael that I was pregnant, I had gone through my own medical. You know, we Google everything. We try to figure out, because I had begun to feel nauseous, but I also have, like, stomach concerns a little bit. So I had gone to my gastroenterologist. Right. I had done all these things. So I'm like, why am I feeling a little queasy? Because and then the morning sickness was never an issue with my other kids. So I'm just like, it was everything. I never, ever thought I could possibly be pregnant. Right. It's amazing how your brain convinces you of things. And so one of my really good friends is a nurse, and she had told me a while ago, she goes, girl, you need to take a pregnancy test. And I'm just like, no. I said, I think I bought it. Sorry, y'all. I think I bought the pregnancy test to say that I had it. And it sat on the counter for maybe 2-3 weeks. I mean, it was just sitting there. And so finally one day I was going to throw it away. I said, well, this night I was going to throw it away. And I was like, well, let me pee on it and just say that I did it.
Were you drinking and smoking at this time?
I was always smoking. And that's the thing. And I think that's why I was getting nauseous. Because I was pregnant. And I was just like, but I never connected
the dots. Right.
Never connected that. And so I take the pregnancy test and could not even finish.
Sitting there like.
It's just, exactly. And that's what he did. So then I took 2, because I was like, what in the...
Right.
is this? I mean, and immediately my nerves, I'm just shaking. So I took another one. But this is like 3 o'clock in the morning, because I had gotten up to use the rest. That's what it was. I hadn't intended to take it. I just woke up in the middle of the night. I saw this. Let me just do this before I throw it away. And it just, so he was asleep, like he said. And then I went and I had no words. So I just kicked his foot. Oh. He was sleeping on the recliner and his feet were up. And I just kind of kicked his foot to wake him up. And he woke up and I gave it to him. And he looked at it and he said, what is this?
Right.
Because this is Michael. What is this? And then he shook it like you did. And he was like, what?
Okay.
Who is this?
It's not the temperature.
Natural man reaction.
It's not. You're not checking the oil. Yeah. And that's how.
Mike, I would have shook it too, bro.
Yeah. That's how he found out. And I don't know if did you think it was for me or did you think it was for somebody else? Because he didn't, I mean, he was trying to figure out.
Which one of the kids was pregnant?
Who was pregnant? Like, why are you giving me this tick? That's how it happened. I didn't say the words because I couldn't talk at that moment.
I mean, with 44,
But 44, ain't a whole lot of 44-year-old people getting pregnant. I'm just going to tell you. I mean,
No, but it ain't like, it's not like I guess it's not in like medical miracle zone when it's like all the ladies is 52 and got pregnant. 44 is still, that's still the danger zone.
Medical miracle zone.
I don't know.
But y'all got a beautiful daughter out there.
Yeah, because, I mean, when Peyton came, his mother was 35, and that was considered like high.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the number. But I think that stuff is also like certain stuff in like BMI is ridiculous, right? Like BMI is not applicable to regular humans. I think.
Well, I know one of the things that my doctor told me when I finally
it's high risk, right? It's high risk.
She said that it's advanced maternal age is what they call it. They no longer classify it as high risk because high risk has nothing to do with age. Right. You could be 20 and be high risk. So they changed it, and of course I ain't been to a obstetrician 30 years, So I mean, so everything was new, and then we also did take the genetics test. Because when you are in advanced maternal age, they give you that option as well. So
yeah,
we did all
it's funny. That. It's like having one kid with special needs, with autism. I mean, and then sometimes you get too close to the data, right? Mm-hmm. Because there's data that shows if you have one with special needs, you actually have a higher chance of having another one. So I think when I had my second child and there was no special needs, in my mind, I'm like, all right, that raises the likelihood or the risk that if you have a third, there's going to be something. And so I think that was also, honestly, one of the other things that deterred me a little bit. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I don't know. I think I always in life was like, I'm going to have 2 kids. Mm-hmm. And when the boy came first, I was kind of like, I'm good. I'm kind of good, but I want to have a second one. Right. I got the girl. I'm like, I got bookends, and now I got my bonus son, and now I love that because it's fun. It's fun going back to 14. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like, if I had to go back to 2, like to your question about if I would adopt, earlier in life, absolutely. Like we had those conversations about would you adopt? I absolutely would adopt. Earlier in life, I just think at this point, yeah. I mean, I even thought before I married him, and I wondered whether or not I would ever adopt, because I felt like if I ever got to a place in life where I was, financially in a good place, that I would love to be a baby's mom again, But of course, this is when I was in my 30s. People, this was not. I have a question.
Yes,
is Evie SWAC?
Oh, here we go.
No.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
She's not SWAC.
She is SWAC.
Wait a minute. Wait, okay. Okay, wait.
Yes, she is.
Okay.
She's not.
She is.
Mike did that serious. He said the baby is not SWAC
because her mother and her grandfather.
Okay, wait.
No.
Go ahead.
SWAC.
Okay, she is not SWAC because.
I'm sorry.
Because
it's not supposed to be this funny.
Hush, be quiet.
Because my father went to Morehouse.
Where did you go?
I went to Langston.
Okay, so what conference is that?
I don't know. It's like
okay, exactly. So he don't have
GCAC.
He don't even know the conference. So how he gonna say what conference she's not? Right. And he don't even have a conference.
It's like a Costco.
Right. I mean, like, what are you talking about? Anyway.
Wait. Okay. So.
But haters will hate.
No. So when I look at Everly, I think of my grandmother.
Okay.
You know what I mean? She never, both her grandmas, but in particular, the Price grandma. Mm-hmm. So she didn't get the opportunity to meet her and understand her legacy and all that kind of stuff. So with that being said, I always envisioned her going to Spelman, Emory.
All right, Emory.
Princeton.
You know what?
No, not Princeton. The next will be like Fisk. But not SWAC.
But not SWAC.
But HBCU. But HBCU.
HBCU.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? You talk about the grandmother. There's a picture of my daughter. There's a picture of my grandmother at like 10. And it looks like my daughter taking a picture with an old ass camera. I mean, it's crazy.
They look so much alike.
Yeah, my grandmother was 10. It was, they probably, all the pictures was sepia tone. The shit that we use to make filters now was the actual color of the picture. But when you see it,
that filter.
It literally looks like a picture of my daughter with that filter on. It's crazy. It's literally crazy. But so, I mean, we got to talk about it, right? We got to have this. We got to have a few minutes. We got to dedicate a few minutes.
Here we go.
To Coach Prime.
See, look at that. Look at this.
I mean, but neither one of us really have a dog in the fight because, as he just so eloquently explained, he has no conference.
No, but I'm saying, is he right or wrong? I mean, having gone to HBCUs, because here's my thing.
Well, right. You have gone to an HBCU.
I
so
think.
That makes you part of the HBCU
if you look
community.
at I don't know. I think I'm getting frustrated with social media in general. Because I think it's
Did we just talk about that?
Yeah,
this is becoming a place for people to
much.
find their daily shit to be mad about, right?
Right.
Whether it's
everything's
Coach Prime,
outrage.
You know,
everybody mad. Brittany Griner.
Brittany Griner, they mad because she got
my God, somebody got to be contrary. You know,
like they should have gave him Fred Flintstone or Daniel Snyder instead of the I'm like, y'all, who gives a fuck who they gave her? I mean, I don't know. I get it. Yeah, but the Coach Prime thing rubs me the wrong way. Because
why does it rub you the wrong way?
Well, because I think I just think that social media in general has given unintelligent people who in the past had no platform from which to state their ridiculous opinions now have a platform.
Think pieces.
We have to listen to this. To this bullshit. Right. And so, I mean, I think, and people have their personal filters, but when you look at it through the lens of the way the world works from a business standpoint, the world of sports, the world of doing what's best for your family, there is nothing wrong with the decision a man made.
Correct.
At all. No, you cannot be mad, especially in a situation where, and I mean, what's crazy is that there's more and more stuff coming out. I mean, today we heard the rumor that they were stealing money from him. They didn't complete their contractual obligations, all these other things. But at its core, if nothing else, $300,000 and somebody offers you $5 million, and I've been called a capitalist, but how do you say no to that? For a job that is an opportunity for you to chase your second dream, right? Because he's Hall of Fame football player. So do you think
it's about him or his son?
Do I think what's about him or his son?
The decision he made?
I think it's both. So I said this a couple months ago. One, I'm saying now on camera, so this is going to be on record. Shador will be a Heisman candidate 2 years from now. 2 years from now, he'll be a Heisman candidate at Colorado. I think he absolutely is in part doing this to give his son a platform to play at the highest level, to give him a better chance to go to the league. I think that for sure. I think Deion also, as an elite athlete, has an ego. You know, he spent the last 2 years doing Geico commercials with arguably the greatest college coach ever, and I'm sure he's like, "Fuck, I can do this." Mm-hmm. And he's proven it. You saw 10 Alabama players went to transfer portal. I promise you, at least 4 of them going to Colorado. Yeah. So I think at the end of the day, it's like, I don't know. I think arguably what's interesting is people, especially within the black community, expect our heroes to make sacrifices that many of them would never make. The question I keep asking people all the time, like, he shouldn't have left. He did that to the kids, blah, blah, blah. I said, in whatever your job is right now, whatever it is, if someone offered you the opportunity to go to arguably a better situation, because when you think about facilities, resources, support, all of those things, a better situation for not double, but more, literally more than 10 times what you're making, would you say no for the greater good, whatever the fuck the greater good is?
Nobody would.
Who would? So why do you expect that man to say no? And then I think
so. Is the staff and at Jackson State upset? Because I haven't really heard anybody from them being upset.
It's black people in general.
Yeah.
Especially, I'm keeping it a buck. That's why I'm asking. I didn't go to HBCU. I think I have come to have a massive degree of respect for HBCUs, the talent that they put out, the impact that those people have in the community, and I think what HBCUs represent. And it's funny. It's interesting because growing up in Ohio, where I grew up, at the time I grew up, I didn't really have much line of sight to HBCUs. I also know that I didn't have the discipline at the time to go to a HBCU. I'd probably still be an undergrad right now at 52 if I fucked around and gone to Howard. I'd still be an undergrad. But I think where I'm hearing the venom come from is largely the HBCU community, because there's this perception he made these promises. He said he was going to elevate this and that, and he has.
He did.
I mean, you look at what the mayor of Jackson, Mississippi said about the economic impact he's had on Jackson. Now, the problem is people expect him to do that forever, and he's not.
Well, I think a couple of things can be true at the same time. I think that the opportunity that he has is definitely, financially and personally beneficial. And as a wife, I could not imagine expect anything differently from my husband. To be honest,
Mike came home and said, "Yo,
I mean,
Kristi, they offered me 12 times my current salary."
But I think at the same time, there is a misconception about the HBCU community. We are very, we're very prideful. Like, we're very proud of holding it down. Like, we feel like, attending HBCUs is, somebody said I saw on Facebook.
Hold on, holding it down. Let me ask you a holding it down question. Though. Compare what percentage of HBCU alum hold it down through their pocketbook?
Quite a few.
Okay.
HBCUs are historically underfunded, so there's a lot of effort that's put into, alumni relations. Like, I know I'm a graduate of Southern, and so we have chapters all over the country. My parents both, my dad is also, so we're third generation. My son is there now. So there's a lot of activity.
Well, are they writing checks?
Yeah. I mean, that's basically what the alumni chapters are for. But it doesn't matter how many checks. He's a lifetime member. He doesn't have to write any more checks.
Let me get my place.
It doesn't matter how many checks black people write for black schools.
That's the question.
But the question is, this is a numbers game. So every black person in the world could write a check to a black school. It still wouldn't compete with the finer PWIs because it's a numbers game. There's just not enough black people, period, to compete with.
Yeah, no, but I think
the percentages. I think the percentages, and if the percentages are lower, it's a socioeconomic reason that they are. So I mean, in everything where black people have deficiencies, it is rooted in socioeconomics, primarily economics.
100%.
And so it's no different once we become an HBCU graduate or PWI graduate or the like. I mean, we are all, at the end of the day, black folk. So many of the struggles, once we get out of HBCUs or PWIs, are the same. So again, and the hurry up you go in corporate America, I mean,
Well, I'm asking because I don't know about donor participation and all that. And it's just, like,
but HBCUs alums, I mean, they get millions of dollars. I know Southern, I've seen them get millions of dollars in donation from alums that have gone on.
But there also, though, I mean, it's
really
interesting because I think it's true of the black community in general, but there's always, it's hierarchical, right? Mm-hmm. Howard, Southern, those Hampton. I mean, some of those Morehouse, Spelman, those schools have they have the alumni bases, and then I think there's a second tier. And candidly, Jackson State was probably second tier prior to Coach Prime coming. I would argue that. I don't know, Jackson. I'm sure somebody's gonna call in and post in the comments, but
something else.
Yeah, but I know. But I'm just saying. But I think. But I think that my point is. I mean, one, I think I'm agreeing with everything you're saying in terms of it being a numbers game. But I also think that there's an expectation there was an expectation with Prime that one man was going to come in and turn all this shit around. Here's
what a lot of folks, and some people will disagree, but a lot of folks in my circles, I think, are most disappointed in that with people. He did a lot of great things for Jackson State. Mm-hmm. But in the SWAC alone, there are 9 other colleges with 9 other coaches who've been there for years, graduating our boys, mentoring our boys, for decades. And so the tradition of HBCU coaches is kind of that. It is that you are, even if it's a sacrifice. Yeah. And there are people who say, oh, well, HBCU coach will never get that. But we don't know that. We don't know that they're interested in that. We don't know if that's where they're shopped. Right. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? And there's some people who are more, versed than I am in SWAC, athletic history that would argue that there are some SWAC coaches who, in a different time, would have been better than many of the coaches today.
Eddie Robinson had opportunities.
Exactly.
Eddie Robinson chose not to go.
Right.
Because he was grambling through and through.
That and so I think that it is the rift that I've been hearing, or what people I feel like are most kind of side-eyeing about, is the notion that in 3 years one man changed the landscape for an entire community of colleges and institutions that have existed since I know 1880 over here. I don't know about the others.
But the crazy thing is, I think on the one hand, there's people that expected him to do that, and that's why they expect him to stay, which I think is bullshit.
Correct.
On the other hand, I think what he did do was show what's possible if you think about things and approach things through a different lens. Now,
with resources, because he brought the money.
He bought the
he definitely brought the money.
Apparently, he bought his money
and he got paid back for that. We could say he wrote the check, but we know he was reimbursed.
I don't know.
It wasn't by the institution.
Maybe not, but he got it back. Trust me.
I mean,
it was a write-off.
What he did, he bought a platform.
Correct.
That's what
he bought. A platform.
Yes, for himself.
Yeah.
And his son. I mean, and that is what it is. And then so when people's like, he ain't SWAC, that's what they meant. He's prime, and that's okay. But just say that. Be that, own that, say that. I mean,
but here's my thing.
Because really, and another thing, and this other thing I've heard more recently is that people were like, older people who were looking at it are like, but why use the HBCUs to do that?
But
he could have gone. But he could have gone anywhere else. Like Colorado is what 1 and what. I mean, they have the worst. Like they're terrible.
But let's keep it a butt.
But it's because he didn't have experience.
He wasn't gonna get the Colorado job without Jackson State job.
But he didn't have experience.
Right.
And I think he didn't have a degree. Somebody gave him a degree, so that he didn't have experience. So they get black school, and I think that was the other thing. So black people gave you a degree. Black people gave you the experience. And so when older black folks, particularly HBCU alums, are looking at that, they're saying, who come from a different era also. They're saying, so you're stepping on us to get to here.
So what is the expectation then? So
I think the expectation was for if he was coming into the space to have a plan for his legacy, to have what's going to happen. And that's what we've talked about. It's like, we don't know. Like maybe there's something in the works that we don't know about. Maybe he's leaving something behind. We don't know. But we would hope that if someone came and said that they were going to put HBCUs on the map, who, by the way, have kind of been on the map, people ain't been paying attention, maybe, but the Bayou Classic has been on NBC prime time for decades.
Yeah,
so it's not like we're not on the map. It's because they're not interested. And I don't know how much on the. And then where would Jackson State be next year with him gone? They would not be on the national level. So the reality of it is as long as he's there, of course he's bringing the publicity.
But
now that he's gone, what is it going to be?
The best of the best. In the NFL, especially when it comes to offense, are from the SWAC. I mean, you're talking about from Jerry Rice to Walter Payton, they're from the SWAC. You know what I'm saying? So the SWAC is, for sure, it's not new since Deion got there.
I think there's a history of football excellence, but again, Prime's playing a different game.
And it's a personal game, and that's the point. It's a prime game, understand, and that's okay. But just say that.
But here's my thing. This is what I'm trying to say. There is nothing he did that every other successful white coach doesn't do on a regular basis. And so the standard that he's been held to, because he's asking to do a lot more than coach football.
Well, I don't think he was asked to do any of that. I think that he chose.
But that became the expectation.
But I don't think he was asked to do any of these things. I think he chose to take advantage of an opportunity to get coaching experience at the only place that would allow him to do that. And he came in under a pretense that his goal was to uplift the HBCU, community. And when he was challenged about that,
you don't think he did that?
He was not any more than Coach Eddie Robinson did or any of the people before him. No, I don't. I mean, personally, I do not. Jackson State, yes. But if you think that because people are now paying attention that they are watching Jackson State, that they're thinking about everybody else, they're not. They're thinking about Jackson State. And now that he's gone, they will not be thinking about Jackson State anymore. And so that, I think, is what
let me ask a question.
People understand about when you are, used as like a stepping stone.
I would say
and there's nothing left behind.
Rising tide lifts all boats. We agree with that to a certain extent.
What was the question?
Yes.
A rising tide lifts all boats.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So I will say that he created a rising tide around HBCU football. Now the question becomes, when he departs, does the tide drop to its previous level? Does it drop to where I don't think it dropped to where it was before. But
where was it before?
Honestly, nobody cared about HBCU football except HBCU alum.
And I don't think that's changed. I don't think that's changed. But I don't think that's changed.
I disagree.
I don't think that's changed. What did Kevin Hart say about the difference between Kevin Hart and Chris Rock? Is white people famous or black people famous? You know what I'm saying? Well, it's levels even to that. And I feel like I don't feel like now that Deion is gone that it's gonna. I mean, even when he was there, I think maybe more black people and maybe Deion Sanders fans Okay, primetime fans maybe paid attention more.
Right.
Okay,
I think
because the only people I really hear from people, I'm a primetime fan.
I think
you know
football fans. I think football fans.
Not the white ones. Not the white boys. I'm telling you.
No,
they have not. It's black.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's still black folk, and the prime fans are going to follow them to Colorado, so that audience is gone. And then the people who were just interested because
so y'all expected him to make HBCU football.
We didn't expect him to do anything. No, we didn't expect him to do anything. He didn't do any of those things. But we didn't expect any of that.
He didn't do any of what?
Any of the things that you said making HBCUs more prominent or raising
in that 2-year window. He didn't.
For 3. Who though? What we're talking about?
I mean, if
it's for 2 years, if it's for 2 years. 2 years is 2 years. I mean, is that really a legacy? I mean,
this isn't my fight. I went to a PWI.
Is that really a?
Well, I mean,
is that really an argument? 2 years.
I tell you,
the SWAC has been in existence since 1902.
I'll tell you, Jackson, Mississippi would tell you that
they don't even have water.
They do now.
No, they don't.
And they probably got it faster because Coach Prime was there.
No. That's not true. They got it faster because the FBI
shit might still
got
be
involved.
off.
Do not listen to that. You are not going to give this man credit for ending a family.
Bringing the water back.
That is not true.
I'm not.
That's not true.
I'm not.
But I'm just saying that it was a flash in the pan, and it was and I think that's why people said he ain't SWAC because nobody believed that he was going to be there for the long haul. I mean, that's the point.
SWAC is very, very passionate about their stance.
I mean, we're about that life.
Yeah.
We're about that life. Because we can play him every year, get the check every year. I mean, if you give us a stage, baby, we're going to take it. What's up? Like, what?
This is hilarious.
Are you kidding me?
I told Chris, hey y'all, Kristi is definitely SWAC.
I'm definitely SWAC, but before I was SWAC, I was at the University of Texas at Austin. So that's why I'm so SWAC. Because where I came from.
And you dopey.
And I'm dopey. Hook'em Horns High School and college. So yeah, I'm super SWAC, honey. This is just with a pinky.
Is that what it is?
That is not.
What's y'all sign? What's y'all sign? I know Hook'em.
They're this.
Y'all howdy.
And we're this.
I had the wrong.
Girl, he didn't throw up a whole.
He threw a whole other. He's AKA now.
Really.
That's funny.
My bad. I got your little.
But I am SWAC. But that's because it's emotional for us because it's an emotional connection.
It is though.
And it wasn't for him, and we knew that, and that's why. I mean, go on. Ain't no love lost.
Gone on.
But sometimes relationships is transactional.
I mean, hey.
I never
Enjoy
really.
your 5 minutes.
I'd be like, listen, if it was Michael, I'd be like, because we are SWAC, but I'd be like, look, we need to get the PR together about why.
Yes, let's put
a story together that's believable.
Exactly.
Let's kick things down a little bit, you know what I mean, to keep the story right and light. You know,
sound like the story was this fool wasn't getting money he was promised.
Okay, so
where we at? All right,
we don't know.
Switch track.
Because we don't know none of these people.
Exactly.
We making up things.
This is all hearsay.
I'm not making that. That's something y'all know.
I know.
I don't know where they have money or
whatever I'm saying.
I don't know.
No. Everything you said is facts. I mean, everything you said for the most part is facts. I think it's odd that when we talk about HBCU coaches, we got to compare prime. We got to go all the way back to Eddie Robinson.
Not
like
really.
We don't have to go that far back.
You know who was there also? Doug Williams.
Yeah.
He was there
grandma.
too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and I think that to your point, whether or not, these HBCU coaches were household names or famous, and like we always talk about in marketing, it's like there are people who are opinion leaders within your community. These people are leaders. Like, so in the HBCU community, these coaches, like they are the shit in their, in their community.
Eddie George is there now.
It's funny, but here's the thing.
And these guys are still coaching some of the best black athletes,
but
that, like you mentioned, and with less support, funding, less
But here's
resources,
the thing, though.
less.
Prime. If Prime did nothing else, so like I look at Eddie George, right? I look at Hugh Jackson. I look at Prime. Arguably, and then the coach of fam is
And women's sports as well. Like wasn't Cynthia Cooper or somebody?
Shout out Title IX.
Lady.
But
Right?
I think.
Oh, shit.
I mean, so this is my problem. Prime put in the work to do what he did. I mean, you think about it. He established a social media presence. He used media. He used the tools that make recruiting a different game. Mm-hmm. It's why when you got a 5-star kid who decides that he's changing his commitment and he goes on social media, like, you got room for me, Unc. He does that because Deion's made it self-accessible. Mm-hmm. Eddie George, I don't even think has a fucking Instagram. Right. Mm-hmm. I've never seen Hugh post anything. Mm-hmm. Right. I've never seen fans. So part of it is Deion gave the formula. Mm-hmm. Now, everybody doesn't have his celebrity and all those things. You have to build it in your own way. Mm-hmm. But candidly, part of what you're talking about, I think at times tradition is part of the power. Mm-hmm. Tradition is also part of the problem. Mm-hmm. And I think when you try to stick to tradition in a way where you're unwilling to change, that's why Prime was always looked at as an outsider. Mm-hmm. And he's doing the same thing in Power 5 now. Mm-hmm. He's having the same impact. Colorado had the highest merch sales that they've had ever on the second day after Prime signed.
Yeah.
1,000 kids went to transfer portal, and I promise you, half of them would love to go play at Colorado. Mm-hmm. So the impact, you can't argue with the impact that the man is having on the game.
Mm-hmm. On the game,
between NIL and the transfer portal and Prime, the game is changing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, because you would have never heard about a portal until this happened with Deion right now. Like we talked about this on the way here.
Well, isn't it relatively new though? Oh, what did you say? Was all the NIL?
Portal been around for the portal's been around for this is the third year for the portal.
Yeah, it's still relatively
NIL
new.
is like 2 years. It's new, but
I mean, if you're not a sports,
but he's mastered how to use it.
Right. I mean,
as a coach, you got to.
He's an early influencer.
My wife got something to say.
So this is a perfect segue to talk about Colorado, where weed is legal.
Sleep? What the fuck? I'm trying to sleep. Leave me alone. God damn it.
In a chair. Why are you in a chair like that? Why?
So let me ask a question. If I went upstairs to the bed with the same police.
What?
Shut up.
What did you even say?
Shut up. Going to sleep.
I'm hungry.
Nigga, it's some cabbage in the fridge.
Some what?
Cabbage. There's cabbage and collard greens, and you put it in a pot with turkey leg. They'll be ready in 30 minutes.